I'm Anil Kumar, and here is a thinking question on sketching polynomial graphs. So let me write down here tips. This is a very neat question. Sketch graph of a polynomial with following characteristics. Find a possible equation and then calculate its y-intercept. So I've taken up a couple of videos with this kind of a heading, and I've changed the conditions so that we get a good review of the whole chapter. So that's the idea, right? I hope you appreciate it. Conditions here are, we are given two x-intercepts. X-intercepts at x equals to -1 and 3 only, right? Just two x-intercepts, and we are given third finite difference is -12. So that is what is given to us. Now you need to pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. Now let us understand what is given to us. So let me sketch here. That's the coordinate plane. We are saying we have two x-intercept. One is at -1. Let's say this is -1, and then the other one is at 3. So let me say these are my x-intercepts. And now we are also given that finite difference, third finite difference is -12. So when we say third finite difference, equals to -12. That is the constant finite difference. Third time when you find is -12. It means what? It means that the degree of the polynomial is 3, right? This is third finite difference. So degree is 3. Now, will that give you an idea of leading coefficient? Well, since it is negative, we can also say that leading coefficient is negative. So these are two things which we get from here. Now some of you can also find what is the value of leading coefficient. Can you tell me what is the value of leading coefficient? Now the leading coefficient, let's say A in this case, is equal to constant finite difference. Let me give you the formula. Constant finite difference divided by n factorial. Now here it is the third finite difference, right? So normally it is n factorial. Now in this case, since it is third, so let's say nth finite difference over n factorial. In this case it is third finite difference, so it is -12 divided by 3 factorial. Now what is 3 factorial? Okay, -12 divided by 3 times 2 times 1. That is the meaning of 3 factorial, and that gives you -12 divided by 6, which is -2. So from this given condition, third finite difference, we can actually calculate the leading coefficient. That's the beauty of it, right? So that is how you have to actually understand this particular question, and that's why we have kept this under thinking questions. Okay, now it's kind of simpler. We are working with a cubic equation, and we have two zeros. That means the graph should turn from one of them. So it could be kind of like this, right? So there are many differences. This is negative, right? Now since the leading coefficient is negative, it means what? It means that the right side is down, right? So, and third degree means opposite ends. So the graph and behavior is kind of like this, right? So since we have leading coefficient is negative, we know that the graph goes from quadrant 2 to quadrant 4 since leading coefficient is negative and degree is odd, right? Degree is odd, which is 3 in our case. Is it okay? So all this information we get from third finite difference is -12. It's very, very important information. Now let's connect the dots. So that means the graph could be kind of like this, going from here like this and then coming down, right? So that could be one possibility, right? So let me make an equation for this particular graph first. So we are using this function. So let's call this function as f of x. So f of x is the function, and let me write down the equation for this. I'm keeping leading coefficient minus 2. Now we have the 0 at minus 1, so x plus 1. Since it reflects, we'll keep it order 2. The other one is at 3, so x minus 3. So that becomes the equation of this particular graph, correct? Now, what is the y-intercept here? That is f of 0, right? F of 0 will be minus 2, 0 plus 1 whole square, 0 minus 3. And when you multiply minus, this is 1 square is 1, minus 3 times minus 2 is plus 6, right? So you get plus 6. This point for us is 6, correct? So that is how you can find equation and the y-intercept for this particular graph. Can you suggest some other equation? Well, the graph could also be kind of like, let me sketch one here, like this. It could just go across like this, right? And then turn from there. Do you see that? Do you understand? So that could also be position. So this is the second graph. Let me write down equation for this graph. A is minus 2, right? Now this becomes a linear 0. So it is x plus 1 is linear, but 3 is quadratic. So x minus 3 whole square. So that becomes the equation, and f of 0 in this case will be minus 2, 0 plus 1 times 0 minus 3. Now 3 square is 9, 9 times minus 2 is minus 18. So this point for us will be minus 18. So the y-intercept in the second case is going to be minus 18. So these are two possible situations which you could work with, and I hope with this particular video you appreciate how important third finite difference value is and how much information it contains. I'm Anil Kumar. I hope with this video you have learned most of the concepts about polynomials, sketching them, their characteristics and graph. Thank you and all the best.